Olivia Rodrigo, Sour, review.
Olivia Rodrigo, Sour, review.
First track, Brutal. What do you think of this track?
I really like Brutal.
What do you like about it?
I like Brutal because it sets the tone for the album. It's called Sour. This is the most bitter track on the album in my opinion. I think it's got some of her stronger lyrics. I think she really encapsulates what it's like to be a really angry, angsty 17-year-old, because I was like, holy shit, man. I wish I had this song when I was 17. I'm almost fucking 20. I can't relate to this shit no more.
You thought it was a good little intro?
It's a great intro.
I thought it was a fine little introduction to it. I like the ending where it kind of slowly goes out of it, like fades out of it. But for a guitar-centered track, I wanted it to be a little more brutal. It sounded angsty. It sounded fine. I wish it was a little more interesting guitar licks. Like it's just like dun 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 dun. Like I could play that.
Yeah, but
I wish it was a little more interesting like that. But I thought it was fine, and I like the outro into the next track, which is "You Traitor. You simply cannot be trusted." What did you think about Traitor?
Traitor was my least favorite track on the album when I initially listened to it. Now we're about 3 days in, and it's become one of my favorites. I thought it sounded too much like Heather by Conan Gray. When I first listened to it, it's that song that's like, as she walks by, what a sight for.
So why was it your least favorite at first?
It's just very monotone.
You traitor!
It grew on me a lot. Given what I've heard with the opening track on the 3 prior singles, I was like, this is starting to feel a little flat. Although, once you listen to the whole thing and you get used to the album, I think it fits so much better.
I think it's a good little introduction into the kind of series of songs that she goes into right after this. I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you.
It faded.
You traitor!
Actually, you want to know what I do want to say about it? Those harmonies in the beginning, straight out of pure heroin.
Yup.
Straight out of pure heroin. And on Traitor, I will say that starting into it, her voice does have a lot of personality to it. It's not too flat, and I do like that.
It's one of her best tracks vocally on the album.
Yeah, she has... there's emotion that comes through her voice, which I like. That's very good, and a lot of artists don't do that. I want to talk about Driver's License, because I don't think I've ever talked about this song to anyone.
I've never heard your opinion on this. I'd love to hear it.
So I think this track is pretty good, but I think that it has a lot of missed potential. I'll say this. The swell on the chorus, her little vocal line there, is fucking amazing. I really think that the build of emotion and then immediate kind of ease out of that and then back up to the verse is really good. But I think the song peaks at that first chorus. I think the second chorus is not as powerful, and I feel like the little bridge at the end is not as powerful either. I would much rather think the song would be better if the next chord, the second and third chorus on this on Driver's License don't hit as hard as the first one for me. But the first one hits really, really, really hard. And I do like these kind of cute, more teen lyrics where it does feel like it's kind of the end of the world and super powerful, but it doesn't seem like ignorant about it. It's just like, this is how I feel right now. I'm unapologetic for it. But I still think that this would be the best song in the album so far on the track list. I don't think that it's bad at all. I just think that it could be so much better.
I might have to disagree with you.
Talk to me.
I think Driver's License, a lot of people I see on Twitter, they're like, industry plant, Olivia Rodrigo's an industry plant, but she's really not. Like, the organic success of Driver's License is like one of the most satisfying thing that's happened this year.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
Her rise to fame has purely been through her talent and just a really good lucky strike.
Well, there's drama behind it too. I don't know anything about it.
Listen,
when I first heard
about Joshua Bassett, let me just say that.
I don't even
know. The
know.
beef definitely pushed this song.
Yeah.
But when the song initially dropped, everyone was like, this is a good song. They weren't really talking about it till everyone was like, wait a second, Joshua Bassett and Sabrina Carpenter.
Nobody cares.
And I was like, you know what? I listen to this album now and I listen to all the tracks, and I don't really think of that like love triangle. I think of these songs as their own separate entities.
That's good. But
which I think is good. But to get back on Driver's License, I actually disagree. I think the second chorus is a lot stronger than the first one. The first one is more mellowed out. But there's a lot of added percussion and synth, and I think the vocal line is just way stronger on the second chorus, leading into the bridge.
That bridge was like the part being played on TikTok.
Yeah, red light stops.
That's all I heard for like a whole month.
Yeah, no, and like, listen, that bridge is fucking wicked.
Maybe that's
It's really good. I love that bridge.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite bridges ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see where you're coming from with it needs to be stronger in the bridge. I think if the second verse had like a change of a melody or like a different variation to it, it would be like a top tier track. But in my opinion, Driver's License is the best song on this album.
Interesting.
And I think Olivia Rodrigo is going to have a really hard time topping this track, because the same thing happened with Carly Rae Jepsen, where she dropped Call Me Maybe.
She has songs better than that.
Oh,
bro, we haven't even talked
about
Carly
Rae Jepsen. Let's,
but
just for reference though, when the general public thinks of Carly Rae Jepsen, they go, Call Me Maybe Girl.
Correct.
But Carly Rae Jepsen has made some incredible pop music. Don't deprive yourself of the culture. Go listen to Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen, please.
I still think that the second chorus and the bridge and stuff is fine. I just think from the beginning of the song where it starts mellow and then that build, it just for me, those parts hit harder. The drums and the synths that you mentioned on the second chorus, they don't feel as much. Maybe it's because I'm ready for it, and like when I first listened, I wasn't ready for it. It's interesting hearing the context behind the song, because I think I was introduced to the song like there was like the drama was the first thing about it. And that's what turned me off about it.
When I first heard this song, it was before it actually picked up.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the song was like a hit on release. The day it dropped, it was big.
Yeah.
And I remember all the, you know, the gays on the timeline were like, go listen to this Driver's License song by this Olivia girl. And I was like, no, I'm not listening to this.
Yeah.
I actually was like, nope, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Don't need to hear another stupid song.
Uh-huh.
But then I saw it again. They were like, no, wait, this song is really good. Go listen to this Driver's License song. So I did, and I watched the video and with the song first. So my first time hearing the song was watching it with the video.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was on the toilet. I was like taking a fucking shit when I first heard this song.
Uh-huh.
And I was like sitting on the bowl, and I was like, holy fuck, this is so much better than I anticipated.
Yeah.
And I think it was like my most streamed song that week. I gave it like 100 plays in 7 days, which is bad.
Fourth track, the One Step Forward, Three Steps Back. I like this song a lot. I think this is a good song for right after Driver's License. I think it fits perfect into this album. And I feel like Driver's License kind of starts into the song really well. It just flows into it really well.
I agree with you with that.
The piano line I really like. This and her lyrics do feel kind of fairly mature. Like, yes. She seems like she understands this situation decently. She's not on any 16-year-old Lorde level, of course.
No.
But she does.
Lorde is like a 50-year-old woman trapped in a 16-year-old's body when she dropped pure heroin.
Yes.
It was scary.
Right. She does seem more mature for like if she was 17, 18 writing this, to understand like kind of how the situation is going. And I do like it does sound very like it sounds a bit like hopeful in a way. Yeah. Weirdly, not with
I know
lyrics,
exactly where you're coming. No, it's like the tone
right.
in her voice and the way she's enunciating those words and the way the words actually come together in the verses and the bridge and the chorus.
I do like this song a lot. I like it pretty much the same amount as Driver's License, honestly. Maybe a little less, but for different reasons. They're not the same song. They're not too comparable like that. But I do like the song. It's just very little.
Yes, I agree.
Digestible. It's
a very digestible song. Just like Traitor, it's a palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm.
You needed something. I was reluctant to agree with you because I was like, okay, we just had Driver's License, which is like low key a ballad, while also being like a powerful song. But I was like, another piano ballad after another piano ballad after Traitor, which was a generally slow song. I thought it was just too much slow to jump in. Excuse me. Sorry if I look greasy. It's really hot in here. I think One Step Forward, Three Steps Back is a good song. Lyrically, it's one of the stronger tracks. I agree with you on that. It's interesting because the fans realized Taylor Swift and Jack Antonoff had a writing credit on this song. And it's not that they wrote the lyrics. It's actually they interpolated. I don't know. I hope I said that right.
Interpolate.
Interpolated They took a track from Reputation called New Year's Day, and they took that piano line and kind of put them together.
Yeah.
And if you listen to New Year's Day, and then you play one step forward, three steps back right after, you'll actually hear the very, very obvious similarities. Yeah.
What the fuck?
So they took New Year's Day's piano riff and basically slapped it on, and she kind of just put some words over it, which is why I don't like One Step Forward, Three Steps Back as much, because it's the least original track on the album. Personally, for me, when I first heard this, I knew New Year's Day was involved in this track. So when I listened to it, I was like, okay, let's see like how they put this piano in the track. I'm like interested to see how they did it, and it's only really present in the verses.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with this track. It's good. I really like this song, but when it stands next to the other tracks, it just doesn't stick it for me. And it's not necessarily a bad track. I will say this album is skipless. 11 tracks, it's skipless. But this one, I could pass up on if I wanted to. But it's still a very good song.
Okay. Number 5, the Deja Vu. Deja Vu. Tell me, is it Deja Vu? Ooh. What do you think about this song? You said before that it's a up.
Deja Vu is another one of those songs where I was like, oh my god, it was like right after Driver's License, she cleared her Instagram, she pulled a Taylor Swift, she deleted everything, and I was like, the next single is coming, and I was like, this is the defining moment. We're gonna find out if Olivia Rodrigo is a one-hit wonder, or if she's just gonna seal the deal and rock our socks off.
Yeah.
And she rocked my fucking socks off, because I fucking love Deja Vu so much. It is in my top 3 for this album. Its lyrics, I think, are the strongest on the album. I think it tells a story very well. It has, like, oddly specific details without being overbearing.
Yeah.
I love the production on this track as well. I like the opening, like, bells/chime synths. I don't know what the hell those are, but I love it. And I watched, like, a whole YouTube video about her and the producer that, like, broke down how this song came to life. And it was just so interesting to see how they produced it. They told this story about like the mixer. There's one part of the song where she says, I bet you even tell her that you love her in between the chorus and the verse. And then after that line, you can actually hear a girl whisper like, I love you.
I heard that.
And that's so freaky, and I haven't been able to unhear it. And it's just like those little details that make a song so special. I love Deja Vu.
I think this is my favorite instrumental on the project, honestly. Has a lot of kick to it. Lyrics are good. They don't hit me too deep. They're just fine. Besides that, that's all I really gotta say about the track. I just like how it sounds. But there's honestly not much more I can say. I think it's a good single. I think it fits.
I wasn't as hot on it as first. It really grows on you.
Okay.
And like the more and more I listen to it, I'm like, yup. My brother and I were just talking about it. We were like, this song's so underrated because it's sandwiched between Driver's License and Good For You, which is like really picking up traction. It's like a really big song on release.
Speaking of Good For You,
which is the next track. It's just sad that Deja Vu kind of got like sandwiched in between because I think it's a really strong track. It deserves its exposure, and I feel like it didn't properly get it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those like, it shows her versatility. It's like it's really the only indie pop-ish song on this record.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish there was more songs like Deja Vu in that vein.
Good For You. I really like her personality on this. It's definitely she's definitely got some influences from 2000 type of
Paramore,
emo type of shit.
Avril Lavigne vibes.
I feel like this song could fit perfectly onto a fucking rock band on the PS2. Honestly, when I was thinking, I was like, this would fit perfectly, and I do think it is like a pop. I don't think you would call it punk, but like
pop rock, borderline punk.
Yeah, punk would be definitely a little more
it leans
severe.
A little alternative.
Yeah, something like that. And I think it's decent for that. I just wish that there was a guitar solo on this. This song needs a guitar solo. If it had one, it would be really, really, really good.
Yeah. I feel like the closest we'll get to that guitar solo is that break between the second chorus and the bridge.
Yeah. But you could do a perfect guitar solo that's literally just her the chorus. You could just
and that would be
amazing.
And then bringing it right down to the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been great.
But I think her chorus on this is maybe like the best chorus on this project, honestly.
You know what?
I like this chorus.
I've talked about this track with a lot of people.
Oh yeah?
And we all just agree, like, I'm convinced that this is some type of, like, social experiment. There's got to be some type of, like, crack in this song. Because I haven't stopped listening to it. And I don't get sick of it either. It's really weird. And the lyrics are just so mean. She sounds like a bully. And I love it. The second verse, I enjoy the second verse more than the chorus.
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with that? Ah.
She sounds like she's trying to like hurt someone with her voice, but she's still like kind of insecure about it.
Her delivery.
And she's still kind of hurt about it. It's not as
this is like the lashing out. I'm crazy.
Right.
But I know I'm crazy. But I'm embracing the crazy.
Right.
It's an excellent track.
It's pretty good. I like it a good amount. What's next? Enough for You? What is this one? I gotta listen to this again. This one I like her voice on a lot too. It really shines here. Like she has a lot of personality on her voice. Again, it is folky, and she does take the center of it.
I really, really like that she self-wrote this song. Mm-hmm. No one else wrote the words for this except her, and you don't see a lot of artists do that. You'll see Taylor Swift do it a lot. Gaga's done it a few times.
Yeah.
Katy Perry as well. And you don't really see songwriters solely just writing. And this is one of those tracks. And the next one as well, she wrote by herself too. It's the first time we hear like a little bit of hope. Because at the end she's like, and I will be enough for somebody else. Like, and I'm going to find that someday. And it's the first time we're like going over the hump and like starting to realize like one boy isn't going to kill me.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice push in the storyline for this album.
Speaking of that, how do you think the storyline is going right now? Because we're at 7 songs in where she's talking about the same relationship. Do you think it's kind of evolved at this point? Do you think that
it evolves here? This is literally it. This is the like next boop in the storyline, but it gets a little stagnant.
Yeah, let's
between
talk
track
about
2
that.
and 6.
2 and 6.
Traitor to Good For You.
Yeah, it definitely. I agree there. If we talk about track 8,
Happier.
This is when I started to notice that we're talking about the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it started to get stale here, but I feel like right here is also like the conclusion on the album where she stops talking about
And
this.
that's when I say that this track needed to be the second to last track. I talked about this with somebody else, and we were like, Happier should have been where Favorite Crime is.
Yeah.
Favorite Crime is like the last time we talk about the entire point of this album ever for the album, and then we just go into the closing track, which we'll get into.
Right, so this is where I think the album trips up at least the most. It feels like it doesn't, her feelings aren't completely resolved, which is fine. You can end an album being like unconcerned or still worried about something, or still you haven't really found a solution, but it doesn't feel as like clear that that's the goal. It just seems like it ends. It feels like there needs to be a little more to it. It's the first time on the album where I just kind of like,
and you know what? That's how I felt about this track exactly when I first started listening to it. But I tell you, the more you listen to this album, the more it grows on you. And this has become, like, I think, Enough For You and Happier kind of fight for, like, the 4th spot. Because my top 3 on this album is the 3 singles that were initially released.
Okay.
But when it comes to that 4th track, like, Enough For You and this one kind of, like, battle it out. And I kind of, like, change my mind on, like, which one I like better. But this track is just, it's an interesting way of thinking about the ending of a relationship. It's a perspective I think we haven't heard much about, where it's like, oh, like, when an album's track list comes out before the album comes out, I always wonder, like, what will this song be about, and how will this word's meaning be construed? Because there's so many ways the word happier could be used to tell a story. So I like the way that she used it in this, where it's like, I want you to be happy, but don't be happier, because it would just, like, kill me.
I'll say at this point, so there's a couple songs that I thought, there's like 2 or maybe 3 songs that I thought were great/good. There's a good amount of songs that I think are good and fine, but there's nothing that is amazing yet. So that's just context for what I'm thinking about right here. It's still like stuff that like sounds decent enough, but there's nothing that has blown me away. So number 9, the Jealousy track. What do you guys say about this one?
This is you know, I hate to pit women against each other, but it has like this Billie Eilish vibe that I'm fucking with it.
Really?
I do. It has just the harmonies, the delivery of vocals, the context of the song.
Let me hear this shit again.
It's something like Billie Eilish has
Oh.
ventured into, and the thing is, it's not like Billie Eilish should gatekeep this and no one else should talk about this, which is not what I'm trying to say. But I think it's just, it has a very similar tone, and I like that this style of music is now coming up more towards the forefront, and more people are making music like that because it's good and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like this one as much. It was my least favorite track on the first listen. And I like this one because it has nothing to do with Joshua Bassett. And I like that. And this is a very relatable song because I know a lot of people that are like, I look at people on Instagram and I'm like, I want to be like them. Like, life sucks. Like, why can't I be skinny? And why can't I be cool? And why can't I go on vacation? And why can't I do this?
It's definitely relatable like that.
It's an easy track to get into.
And she does have good little details in there to make it like not as completely bland.
Yeah.
This might be a single, honestly. I could hear this chorus on the radio.
Jonathan. A lot, I think they're gonna push Traitor as the next single.
You traitor. It's a different topic and it does feel refreshing.
Yes. And it fits in with like the sour vibe. It's like,
yes,
this is a sour song.
And if it could kind of go anywhere on the album, honestly, but it's still like a good little piece in there.
I would have liked it after Enough for You.
Next, favorite crime.
This is cute, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's the weakest of like the B-sides, the songs that we haven't heard yet, in my opinion.
The last 3 songs are like the deluxe, because like the first 10 or 1 through 8 are all the same thing, and then we go into something completely different.
Is this second to last?
Yeah, this is second to last. For this, there's nothing.
I really like Favorite Crime. A lot of people are like, this is very Swifty. This is very Swifty, and I was like, you know what? Like, you're right. But the bridge on this track, and also I forgot to mention Jealousy's bridge. She's great at bridges.
Mm.
Yeah, but Favorite Crime is cute. It's short. It's alright. It's just the concept doesn't fully follow through for me for this one, and that's why I'm not fucking with it as much. It's like I wish it had more like darker lyrics about like literally the crime and what is the crime.
Yeah, it's definitely the most for me, I forget about it the most on the whole album, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 11 tracks. It's kind of hard to forget about anything on this project.
It's the one I'm like, it's like a treat. It's like, oh, I forgot about this song, and it's gonna come on now, and I enjoy it.
Yeah,
but that's all.
I could see someone really liking it.
I really like the song. It's the thing is, I don't not like a song on this album. I really like all of them. It's just that like there are better songs than like the others in there.
Last track.
Hope You're Okay. This is a cute song.
It's a cute little concept.
It gives me a World Alone vibes.
Yeah. She's talking about a completely different thing
topic.
Now.
And I'm
which
telling
is weird.
Yeah, this song would work, and this is why I think, like, it would wrap it up with a pretty little bow if she had just added a verse at the end about how she hopes Joshua Bassett is okay. Like, everything's been said and done, like, I get it, like, but I hope you're okay.
So another thing about this...
Like, if she added a verse after that, like, last bridge, it's like, what do your childhood friends have to do with, like, this? And I get with the concept of sour, and it's like coming of age, and it's like I hope those people that I did come of age with are okay. I think a lot of what's going on with today's generation, it's like mental health awareness, and it's like making sure everyone around you is okay, and I think that's important, but it loses itself in the album. If this concept was a little more brushed out, if the album was like 14 tracks and they like pushed into this concept a little more, would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't fit, in my opinion.
Right. I think it's a cute little concept and song on its own. It works pretty decently. She's good with the details again, but there's no real resolve on this album. The song feels like it could kind of even be put anywhere in itself, because it doesn't resolve the whole sound of the album, doesn't resolve the storyline going in through 1 through 8. The last 3 songs on this definitely feel like it's a deluxe. It feels like there was a kind of longer EP, and then we got a couple tracks of deluxe stuff. As an album, it definitely takes away stuff for me because it doesn't feel like a project as itself. It seems more just like throwing shit in, but the songs are still good. There's not a bad song
the thing.
on
and
this.
the thing is, they requested, the label was like, we want an album. Driver's License went huge, and they were like, working on an EP. They were like, no, give us an LP. We want an album.
You're positive on that?
Yeah.
That's okay.
The label wanted an album, so she whipped this up in like 5 months. She was shooting High School Musical, the series, season 2, while simultaneously also recording and writing and making this album with like one producer. There's only like 5 writers on this album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this project has a good little I think it starts pretty decently. And I think that there's a lot of potential here. I mean, she's super young, gotta remember that.
Huh.
I think there's definitely a lot of potential here. She's got a really good voice, that personality shines through. She's got a good little thing going on with little details. I think those are her two best advantages. I feel like she could definitely evolve more with this kind of alt-rock kind of sound. I think she should go a little more adventurous with it. I think she could definitely get some more producer stuff on it, and I feel like she, in a way, even though she has a lot of influences on this album, she does kind of define her own sound. It just, the album itself doesn't flow as perfectly as a cohesive project, but it still has decent songs on it,
Yeah.
which leads me to rank this at a 6 out of 10. At 5 is average, anything above is good, anything below is bad. 6 out of 10 as an album. If we're talking about the songs directly, there'd be some that would be a little higher. But for me, 6 out of 10, that's not a bad score. I think that's good.
Yeah, she's getting the critical acclaim with this too. It's rocking with an 84 on Metacritic,
Wow.
which is really good. You know, the critics are eating this one up, and it's an excellent debut, effort. You know,
It is a good debut.
It's a good debut album. If this was like her second or third album, I would be like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
But for a debut album, fresh out of the gate, she's only been in the game for 6 months, around even 5. And I think she did a cute job, so I would rank this a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it just a little bit more.
What would you rank this?
Well, first listen, I was like 5 out of 10 because it felt kind of bland to me. It was just about the same stuff,
Yeah.
and some of the songs were slow. But then I listen it again, and I feel like 6 out of 10 is fair.
It works. It could definitely grow on me, and it definitely is going to hit a lot more if you're younger.
Oh yeah.
When you go into a topic like this, where the whole world is about a relationship, there's a line where it becomes, wow, you really don't care about anything but this, where it's annoying, and a line where it's more oh, this just I feel bad for her. She's so young, she's so innocent, she has to deal with this shit. There's a line where you have to tread and stay in that path of, I just feel bad for her, and not, God, she seems like she's just so just what are you talking about? And you definitely would hear something more like that when you're older and you're just listen, none of this shit matters. But I don't think she treads into that annoying part at all.
Definitely
in
not.
this
It's
project.
a solid album in my opinion. For a debut record that was rushed by a label, she did a pretty good job.
If you say it's a
I'm
rushed
impressed.
project, then I think it's even better if you think it's a rushed project.
Yeah, I
'Cause it
know. I
doesn't
remember
sound
being
rushed.
the label was we want an album, and then I think they were making an EP.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure about that.
If you shave this down into an EP, songs on this project, it would definitely go up for me, I think. Flow-wise and stuff like that. I just want more of a conclusion in that
I
story.
wanted more alt rock. I wanted more tracks
I
like
did too.
Brutal and Good For You, because
Good
those
For
were some of my favorites, and I was like, where is this?
Yeah, Good For You is good. She might make
Chelsea
some
had a little bit of that.
Make sure to subscribe for more reviews.
Bye.
How the fuck did that go for 40 minutes?